Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy whose podcasts are the cherry on top of every single one of your feeds. It's Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very special, thank you for the golf clap from the guys, to a very special episode of the podcast, because I feel like that this is like an Amazing Race exit interview here today, because I have not one, but two guests here with me. Two of the stars of Survivor 45 are back together. Another great duo in Survivor as we talk about all of the exciting duos from this season. It is, of course, Austin and Drew are here, and I'm so excited to have you both here.
Oh my gosh, Rob, you're going to make me blush. What do you even say to that?
Oh, this is awesome.
Yes.
Look at us. Three of us all talking together.
Back together. Austin and Drew. Look at this. Yes.
Drew, are you to the left of me? No, to that side of me?
No.
You want to switch?
No, can we like high five during the podcast?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you have to
go
the other way.
It's not an Eiffel Tower. I
think
think that's fine.
It'd be like an intimate moment, you know? You know how like you guys seen this new Wicked movie? Ariana and Cynthia, they're all like fawning over each other.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Somebody in the chat will get that. They'll appreciate it.
We're not live.
Come on. Yes. Aren't you watching RHAP
who's
videos?
Who's Galinda and who's Elphaba?
I haven't seen it, Austin.
Okay.
So
is Austin Galinda?
I watched the first movie. Sure, I'll take that, I think.
Yes.
Austin's a beautiful singer. He's very shy. He won't admit that. But
people think Drew is wicked. And they want to burn him at the stake. But it turns out
I'll be the green one, you know?
Yeah, you're the green one.
Yeah, on all those boats on Survivor, you know, I felt like the green one. So
you were getting motion sickness?
Oh my gosh, Rob.
Oh.
It's not. I mean, they ferry you to these resorts and you eat all this food and they're like, okay, you know, get on the water, and then you're in the hall and it's ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk. You know? You don't keep the food for long. That's unfortunate.
So is that an added benefit when they say the reward is going to be back at the camp?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But I do like with the boats, you get like extra time to kind of compose yourself. Because when we went on rewards together, we would eat everyone would be up, getting ready to go. And Drew and I would always be the last ones laying on the ground, like crying, like literally like a grain of rice away from throwing up. So that extra 20 minutes to get back instead of being right at camp to start, I think that helped.
Until you throw up on the boat.
No, well, I mean, we had some close calls. Never on the boat. You know, it's kind of a chip on my shoulder. You know, I always avoided that. But there was a lot of shenanigans at the rewards. I think D vomited a couple times at the rewards, right, Austin? And then Austin had to call for medical at the merge feast.
Why?
I did.
Yeah, you were lying the floor. Medical.
I did. Oh,
you ate so much you needed medical to come?
It was kind of a joke, though. It wasn't a real come.
The boy who cried medical.
An Easter egg for our most dedicated viewers who might, prompted by this, you know, these podcast appearances, rewatch season 45. But I leave the auction early in season 45. I'm not there at the end because I got sick from eating so much candy.
What candy did you have?
Oh, it was horrible. It was like, what was it? Like gummies?
It was the worst reward. It looked so awesome for about 5 seconds.
Yeah. Did you call medical after you ate the eyeball, Austin? Was that what it was?
I mean, no, I was going to call for a second one. They were great.
The eyeball was good.
We actually had a bit too. That was not shown.
Eyeball better than gummies?
Oh yeah. Eyeball tasted like sushi. It was like fresh sushi, right?
Didn't get sick after. No, it had protein. You know, it was great. The candy was tough, especially after not eating for so long. And then the first thing you eat is like 1,000 grams of sugar.
Yeah. Eyeball tasted like eel. It was good.
All right. You're Survivor 49, baby. All right. I'm very much looking forward to talking with you both about this episode because I think that you have two very different experiences where, Austin, you've been with us week to week, correct? Keeping up all season long.
I have.
But Drew, on the other hand, he, much like everybody at the auction, with binge, He caught all of the episodes, 1,000 calories of Survivor, all in just one sitting, as he has consumed all of the episodes this week.
That's true, Rob. Not even this week, in the past few days. I mean, there was a moment in season 48, and I'm thinking of a very specific moment. I'm thinking of when Shaheen began to sing that song about chicken and waffles.
Fried chicken and waffles.
Yeah, right.
Fried chicken and
Remember
waffles.
this, Austin?
Fried chicken and waffles.
Yeah, that was probably the moment where I turned off Survivor, and I hadn't thought about it in a long time. And then there's season 49. My girlfriend's like, "You should watch. It's actually pretty good." And I was like, "Okay, I'm just so busy,
Wow.
driving around, unemployed." And I got it. I have like, I've got like a Honda
your
Odyssey.
girlfriend isn't in the cast, right?
No. She's just one of the hoi polloi. And I got this Honda
I was just trying to
Odyssey.
figure
It's got
who
like a
was
little
telling you
monitor.
Survivor 49, is actually very good.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And I said, okay, well, I'll watch it. And so I got it on the TV in my car. So I'm like driving around my commute, and
What do you mean a TV in your car? What do you drive, a party bus?
No, well, it's like a minivan, but there's like a little monitor in the middle. And then you can like play audio. And the great thing about Survivor in the new era is that things happen. And then the confessionals just repeat what happened.
Yeah. So
Like-
you're driving a minivan and then you're putting on, you're streaming Survivor. Are you seeing it though, or are you just hearing it?
No, like I have it like it's like on my phone. So I don't like look at it. But like, if I'm stopped at a light and
Please be
something's
safe.
confusing, like I'll maybe take a glance, But it was mostly audio. That said, this current episode, I did sit down on the couch, the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
And I absorbed it.
Okay. All right, good. Well, I want to get your takes on everything. And of course, very important to keep your eyes on the road when you're driving, of course. And eyes, also very delicious. But you want to cover your eyes when you go to sleep. And that's where our friends over at Manta Sleep come in, get 10% off everything over at mantasleep.com when you use the promo code RHAP49. Okay. So, Drew, do you have any big picture takes in terms of, because I think that this season probably is better on the binge than when you watched it on the way that Austin and I have consumed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like if you're watching it metered week by week, it's a lot of time to sit with those stinker episodes in the pre-merge. Reminds me of Karamoan in the sense that like awful pre-merge, and then it's kind of heats up and it's like a pretty dynamic post-merge. I think in the broader scheme of the meta, like Survivor 49 really hammers home conclusions that you already should have had at season 48, which is that the floater is dead. The notion of like a free agent is outdated, antiquated. That's done. What you need to do now is you need to get the tightest possible group, and you just need to sit together. And the strength of that bond will just plow through everyone else who's disorganized.
So did it take a couple of seasons for the RHAP 4 to really lock in? Is that what happened?
I mean, like, Austin, I'd love to hear what you thought, but I think us and the Tika 3 as well were kind of like the trendsetters in like establishing that this is the meta. But one thing that's new on 48 and 49 is that like they're not even hiding it. They were the only 3 people left out of the merge, if I remember right. I mean, everyone knows they're a trio, and yet the fact they're just so tight, looking out for each other, it scatters everyone else. I mean, you don't even have to hide the alliance anymore. So this is an interesting development that we were a little bit more covert about.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Drew said. Don't have much to add to that, but
well, I'm just trying to think of, because, okay, when we saw the RHAP happen, we said, okay, well, this is obviously what's going to happen. And I feel like we do have a lot of people talking about a core 4 in the pre-merge, but then it really didn't lock in Survivor 46. But in fairness to the people that played on Survivor 46, I don't think they got to see Survivor 45 in its completion. I think that they probably... is that right, or they didn't see it at all? Actually,
didn't see a bit of it.
They didn't see it at all. Got it. Okay, and then so 47, they went and played, and they did see Survivor 45, but it didn't necessarily, it didn't exactly work out that way. But then by 48, we do have people locking in with alliances.
Yeah, and I think what Drew's saying too, with like the floater being dead, I mean, nowadays, like with so many different advantages and things that you don't, there's so many things that are just uncontrollable that like when someone's floating, it makes it even harder to like trust that one versus having like a set crew that you're like, all right, we know what's within us. We don't have to worry about all these different things happening. It's like with also a floater who can go either way. So I think just like the where the game is now, it really lends to this core four, or this like, unified unit.
Well, and then the additional thing is that it's actually a very unhealthy place for the game to be, because it's not the kind of natural communal bonds that you would have seen in like the dark era of the early 20s, or like the original period of the game, where it's like a tribe that likes each other and just sticks together, and that's how the game is played. In fact, it's a response to the kind of like all over the place nature of the game, that anything could happen. There's no consistency, and there are constant random advantages. And in this profound uncertainty, the best thing you can do is glom together. And so then what of course the show will do to attempt to stop this is they'll just add more zaniness in, like, okay, well, let's add as many twists as possible to try and shred this glomming. And so, I mean, we might end up with some seasons that are just totally schizophrenic. I don't know. But I think this is the meta currently, and I think this is the conclusion from Survivor 49, no matter how it ends up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think anybody has really crystallized it like that. Steven was talking about last night about how that he really thought that Rizzo was a very interesting player because he felt like that he, like you're saying, is somebody who has really just repeatedly attacked the middle throughout the entirety of the post-merge. And I think it's really an interesting place to play, where you have had two sides, but Rizzo has repeatedly found soft targets in the middle that are agreeable to at least enough of the people that they're able to get a consensus happening.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job of like sniping the people who are the bridges between the other groups to keep them together, and like to the opposing group to allow them to form like a new majority. Similar, I mean, we keep bringing things to 45, but like, for example, Kelly on our season, she was like a big piece. And without her, a lot of Bella was kind of unable to work together. And I think they're doing a very similar kind of work here with the minority, and taking out really key players who could bring the rest of the group together.
Yeah. This vote last night against Sophie was a 6-1 vote at the final 7. I was wondering if in any way was this at all like the Julie vote from your season, which I believe was also, well, I'll say that it ends up being the Emily vote, but that you all were planning to vote for Julie, and then of course, Dee tipped off Julie to play the idol, and ultimately Emily ended up going home. But was that a case of where it was also like some competing interests came together all on Julie on that one vote?
I think with the final 7, I mean, that's the point where it's really like a lot of these alliances now have like 4 people in it, and the majority is 4. And at 7, that's like the best point, I think, when the end game is so close, everyone can feel it to make those big moves. That's obviously when Reba, we decided like we got to eat our own, because we don't want to be, at the bottom of the 4 or whatever. If there's anyone in that majority at 7 who thinks that they're not going to win at Final Tribal, that's gets them going. And that's when these moves are made, I think.
Yeah, I see it like similarly. I see a lot of surface similarities in the sense that like, okay, there's an ostensible 4 and we're chipping somebody out of the 4, and like both the minority and the majority are kind of going to get together and agree on this decision. But I mean, taking out Julie made so much more sense for everyone involved. Like this is, it's like a first is tragedy, then is farce situation. Like taking out Sophie, who was like the epitome of the floater, the least connected person in the cast, has nobody batting for her and knows it. I mean, it would be much more akin to taking out, Emily if Emily hadn't been aligned with Austin and I, just somebody who would kind of everyone had liked, but really didn't have many options. I mean, I thought it was a baffling decision for pretty much everyone involved, to be honest.
Okay. Well, let's talk it through. Who do you think made the most baffling decision of all of the 7 players, including Sophie?
I think that the decision of the minority to target Sophie in particular was just unfathomable, because here you are, you're against a core 3 that you guys
Steven and Christina.
Yeah. Steven, Christina, Sage went along with it, right?
Too, yeah.
Yeah. You're going against a 3 that are tight, that have really, had very little intimation they're going to turn on one another. Savannah is consistently winning immunities, and then Rizzo has an idol. So the notion of splitting the vote, any old chance, I mean, that's very precarious. You're probably not going to get the opportunity to split the vote cleanly. And so taking out, I mean, targeting Sophie, instead of using those numbers to split the vote and flush this idol once and for all, I thought was really short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think I love though how I really enjoyed this episode overall, and what I do like is the fact that it does seem to not just be cookie cutter, like, oh, this is what we need to do, so let's do this. There's more emotions in play. There are more revenge like moves being made, and I think that's a lot of fun to watch. So I'm all about it. But yeah, I totally agree. I feel like, especially Steven, who had so many confessionals this episode saying how he feels like he's on the bottom, that he needs to really make a big change, to then vote the way that he did. It was a little confusing. I'm sure there's more reasons behind it, but I do agree. Like, this is not good for the minority. And when 6 people vote, everyone votes one way, then something's wrong.
Screwed up. Yeah,
exactly. With the Emily vote, obviously it was not a unanimous vote because we got played. We voted Julie. Obviously, that was not the best move for some people, and that's why you got the vote where people got blindsided.
Yeah.
But when no one's getting blindsided at final 7, I think that's a red flag.
So I've sort of been of two minds in terms of Steven's advantage. He has the vote block here at 7, and he's telling us that, he wants to be able to, save his advantage. That's sort of like the carrot that Rizzo dangles in front of him. And at final 6, a vote block is going to be very useful, but like, was there an opportunity to use that vote block here at 7?
Oh, totally. I mean, Rizzo comes up to him frantic, like, you've got an advantage. Like, we can work something out in both of our interests. Who knows what? I mean, the guy, this imperturbable dude who is like hanging onto the idol and making a show of it and performing. I mean, he's quaking in his boots. He's got stage fright. So like right off the bat, the target is primed. We're ready to strike. The other issue is using the block a vote at 6. You're turning it into like a 3-2-1, or excuse me, basically a 3-2. But again, that idol can go either way. You don't have the ability to split the votes. If you use that block a vote in final 7, you could flush the idol from Rizzo, and you have the numbers to split the votes. So
yeah.
And maybe I'm doing the math wrong, but I don't think so. So it makes so much more sense to use it on final 7.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting because that he gets to, like, Rizzo sort of offers to him, like, hey, you will not have to use your advantage on this round of play, but it also comes along with the cost of that. Rizzo also gets to buy another tribal council where he doesn't have to play his idol. So really, if all hell breaks loose at the final 6, Rizzo still has the opportunity to play his idol. Like, this could be collateral damage where he's like, okay, well, maybe I wasn't going to beat Savannah anyway. And this is his chance. Okay, if worst case scenario is, I'm safe, but Savannah goes home and I'm in the final 5, then it's not the worst case scenario. And I ultimately know that I don't have to play my idol tonight.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, I feel like at final 6, it could still be. I mean, with a 3-3, the only issues is there's so many things out there in play. Obviously, Sophie's got that knowledge is power, which no one knows about.
They don't know about that. Yeah.
Which going back, like, I thought it was so fun how Steven told everyone, yeah, I have an advantage, but I'm not going to say what it is. Which, if it were seasons, like 44 through 48 or 47 where there wasn't a knowledge is power, I would have been like, awesome move. That's so funny. Great. Like, get people quaking. But how is he supposed to know, in this new era where any advantage could come up in any season? It's a scary place to be. And obviously as viewers, it's now like, oh man, you should play that, because every time you don't play that, you increase the risk of losing it to Sophie. I was a little shocked that she didn't take the advantage, but I feel like Sophie's trying to play like a kind of cool, not burn anything until the last moment kind of end game.
Sophie's a really interesting player for a couple of reasons.
So but Sophie.
Oh, Soph, I guess.
Yes.
Blue Sophie.
Blue Sophie.
Yeah. Very inconvenient. That'll be the last time they cast anyone with the same name on a season for a while.
I don't think they care.
You don't? I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. But no, I mean, she, like, if I was Soph, I would be getting prepared to steal Rizzo's idol. You know what I mean? Like, it's a no-brainer.
Well, I think that she would prefer to steal somebody else's idol, but I feel like if you have the knowledge is power and there's only one idol to steal, like I feel like that at some point he's going to wish that he would have played it because it's going to be the only thing that she could take.
Oh, I totally disagree with you, Rob, because I feel like in a lot of ways she has to steal Rizzo's idol if she's going to play the thing. Because right now she's like very solidly third. She knows it. And the jury knows it. I mean, she has no respect. She hasn't done anything. She's faded even from the edit. So she's in a really poor position. And the only way to have win equity is to take power back from Savannah and from Rizzo. And so like it or not, no matter how, best friends you guys really are, you have to move against them. And so taking the idol from Rizzo is like the ultimate symbolic coup.
Yeah.
So she wants to win. She has to take Rizzo's idol.
It's a really good point.
I was going to say it's tough too, though, because for Sophie, she obviously did so much in the pre-merge, but with juries, it's so hard to, I feel like when you're out there playing, you're like, oh, I did all this in the pre-merge. That's already a great story. I remember going to Final Tribal Council and be like, oh, I had a great pre-merge. I did this and this and this and all these things, but they don't care.
Guys, you're not going to believe how I dunked on Trashy Annie. Trashy Annie never saw it coming.
But when you're out there, you might have that idea like, okay, yeah, sure. I might have not done as much in this post-merge yet, but everything I did beforehand got me here. I had the toughest path here. So I feel like you could go in reasonably in Sophie's position thinking you've got a really good chance to win.
Like I'm more amenable to that if like anyone from the pre-merge for her was like still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had Alex, right? But yeah, it's true. That's it.
Oh, Alex. Oh, talk about a poor guy. I mean, well, anyway, so I don't have to,
why poor Alex?
I feel like if I've gotten some messages from players who've played on the season and been like, wow, your podcast was so helpful, which like, who knows if that's true? They could just be messaging me that. But nonetheless,
the podcast you did with me?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Look at that, Rob. But future players, look at Alex as the epitome of what not to do if you're in the middle.
Wow.
I mean, like, it wasn't like Rizzo was some like sharp eye, shooter and like took him out. I mean, the guy was like all over the place, He was like a classic DC politician, couldn't commit to anything, and it was very obvious. It's unfortunate. So he's not going to be any help to Sophie in the game or in the jury.
I mentioned on the Survivor Know-It-Alls last night about how that I was reminded of Jake, and at first I got his scenario wrong, but Jake was somebody who I think probably was feeling a little like Soph, where hey, I'm down by 3 touchdowns here. I need to put a lot of points on the board, and he did have an idol late in the game. And he felt like that I'm going to pull off this like master stroke at the final 5 and everybody's going to see it. And it almost worked, but it did not. But Soph has a chance here to do something and stick the landing, right?
Mm. Oh, yeah. I think there's plenty of things that she could do with that knowledge is power to like completely steal the entire game.
Austin, do you think that if Jake had successfully made that idol play, do you think he still would have been on the bottom, or do you think there would have been this kind of like, like second coming moment where like he's the guy?
The final listen, it's hard to tell because we have to read our jury, and I feel like there are people in our jury who'd be like, that is the coolest thing ever, like heck yeah, like that's awesome, and then it would be an uphill battle to get it from him, but. It's hard to tell. You'd have to ask someone who's not me, who wasn't on the jury. What do you think?
Because what would have happened, just to reset it, because even it was fuzzy to me. So that he had an idol that nobody knew about, that he wanted Katurah to move a certain way with him, but then she didn't quite trust him. He didn't give her all the information. But had his plan worked, D would have gotten voted out at Final 5. Is that correct?
Yep.
I mean, so that changes everything.
Changes everything.
But does just like is Julie in the final 3 now?
I don't like. I think Julie 100% goes to fire.
Yeah,
goes to fire. Do you win the final 4 challenge?
I mean, I would love to say yes, but I ended up second, but that's because
I know Jake broke the challenge then after that, so it's probably not him.
Well, if D wasn't in the lead, then maybe he doesn't break the challenge and he wins it. Honestly, I think Jake might have won that.
I mean, imagine Jake, he voted out D, then he wins the final 4 challenge. Exactly. Does he put himself into fire? We did win the fire.
Yeah, he would put himself into fire.
Put himself into fire?
Yeah.
Is
No,
that, is
100%.
that how, like, wow, is Jake one vote away from winning Survivor 45?
And he had a very a jury that wanted to see the best of him too. I mean,
Yeah.
like those Bellows hated Katurah. They were just never going to vote for Katurah,
Mhm.
but they would have loved to have voted for Jake if he'd given.
So he takes Julie into the fire, or he takes you into the fire?
I think he takes Julie into the fire.
Takes
He's not
Julie
going
into the fire, and then it's Austin, Jake, Katurah in the final 3.
That would have been fun.
It would have been fun. I think Austin, you probably
steal
still
the
would have
Bruce vote.
Oh, so again, Rob.
He's gonna steal the Bruce vote.
It's true.
Maybe, probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably take the. But Drew, you're still voting for me, right?
Oh,
Probably.
of course. Oh, Austin.
I think he's got Caleb, right?
That's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I do feel like I would get the Reba 3.
So now you get the Reba, but now Austin's got 3. I guess
so. We're tight now.
What's Kelly doing?
You get Emily, I think, in this situation.
I feel like Emily was quite bitter when it came to Final Tribal.
Yeah, but not a Jake.
But true. Maybe I would. Let's run it back.
Let's get back out there.
You got to figure out Kelly and Emily, and I don't know if there's somebody else I'm missing.
Kendra.
Kendra.
And Katurah.
Well, Katurah is in the final 3 now.
Oh, you're right.
Kendra was no lover of Jake.
Okay.
I think that's still for you, Austin.
Yeah. All right. So now Austin's the winner.
I think Austin probably still would have won. But let me tell you,
Jake,
late surge for
why did you convince Katurah?
Late surge for Jake ends up with Austin winning.
Austin is a real jury threat, it's like.
But maybe Jake's on 50 then after that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
wow.
if he does that,
what a late push.
Finale. That finale would have been insane if that all happened.
Yeah. All right, but anyway, that's the plight of Soph, where she's gotta, like, Marianne was the person who did it of, okay, I'm down, but I'm gonna like pull a rabbit out of the hat and see, and now everybody's gonna be super impressed. And she like has the ammo to be able to do it. Now, do we know when does knowledge's power expire? Drew, as you were sort of like side watching Survivor in the minivan, did you catch that?
I did not catch that. It probably goes around like 6, right? Let's look it up.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, when I got the amulet, that was final 6. Idols are final 5. So it's my guess would be 6 as well. I'm on the wiki now, trying to skim through this as best I can.
So if that's 6, and then probably the vote block has to be played at 6. It does seem like that we are headed towards could be a pretty wild tribal council where potentially knowledge's power gets played and also the vote block.
Yep, and it is final 6 if it's if the wiki is accurate. So final 6 there. So the vote block, did you say that's final 6 or is that just a guess?
I think the vote block is also final 6.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the idols final 5. So
I think final 5. I think advantages go till 6.
The thing is that Jesse did this kind of, right? It was this like final 6 turnabout, and like he was the strategic mastermind all along. Mm-hmm. But if Jesse hadn't done that, he would have been edited as a lackey the whole season, because everyone thought Cody was doing everything. Cody was the front man. Cody was involved in all the strategy. If Jesse hadn't pulled off this magical move, we would have thought he was just another guy out there, an unmemorable engineer with little inequity.
Do you think it speaks to that this move is not going to get pulled off because we're not seeing, Soph as the main character?
Yeah, I mean, like she's all but disappeared. Mm-hmm. I mean, Sage's boyfriend is getting more time than Soph. It's like I don't know, like some of the secondary characters, the people at home are getting more time than Soph. It doesn't look good. I don't know. I'm worried.
Characters.
But I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, edit-wise, it does seem that this might not be a successful play, or it'll be something that doesn't have a huge impact on the overall story. But I'm hopeful. I am hopeful that this is about to be the coolest next 2 episodes ever, with all the advantages landing and just crazy things. I mean, the next time on Survivor, was really promising. I think. I feel
Yeah.
like.
What did you see that got you excited?
I just remember seeing tears and people like having a lot of emotion, which that's why I watch reality TV. I want to
You
watch
like the emotion.
breakdown. I love the emotions. I love when people are just so emotionally overwhelmed that they can't hide and they just unleash onto the screen. And I think we're going to get some of that next episode.
I like when they suffer. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Exactly.
Are you being facetious, Drew?
I mean, like, yes, a little bit. Like, I don't want to see like impalements, but nonetheless, like, I don't want the happy-go-lucky stuff. You know, I want to feel like this is like really Robinson Crusoe. I want to feel like this is existential and there are real stakes.
What about the challenge that we saw Steven participate in, where he had to go on this strenuous mission?
I was just gonna bring that up. Yes. I feel like that was such a cool journey. I mean, I would put that in the same level as when Rachel had that, you know, on the little maroon area and like the rope coming off. Like it just felt so epic. The fact that the timer was like the literal ocean was so cool. And I think that really goes to show like the scale of Survivor and like, you know, a 500-person production crew. That must have taken so much work and timing to execute it perfectly, because they can't, you know, just flip a timer whenever the contestant starts. They have to perfectly plan everything so they get the exact amount of time that they have in mind to do this challenge, to run across the entire island. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I agree. Good answer.
Like it. Yeah. I thought it was inspired by, what is it, Strava? Is that what people do when they're running, of like go around, like here's my path around the island to go exactly. I also saw online today that the combination to Steven's lockbox was exactly the same combination that Jake had to open when he got the advantage in the final five. What was it? JT Denise Gabler of
Gabler Denise. You gotta say it in Jake's accent.
Sorry.
I mean, the thing is, they've got all this. You know, it's kind of philanthropic because they've got all this detritus in Fiji. You know, what can it be used for? You know, they can reuse it. I mean, they're recycling. We should try this eco-conscious.
What if, okay, like just just hypothetically speaking, you know, Steven, let's say he's a survivor and he's like, you know what? I know a lot of times they forget to change the combination on things. I'm just going to go with the Jake O'Kane, JT Gabler Denise. And what if he just goes right to the thing, opens the thing? The producer's like, no, we're not doing that.
That's tough. I almost feel like they'll be like, okay, but the rule is you have to circle around the entire island before you even put it in.
Did he have to circle the island if he just got the code?
I think they would make him. They'd make him circle the island.
I think that okay, so how about this? What if he's so confident that he goes there and he just like futzes around with it for 20 minutes of like, and then it makes it like, oh, I got it. They'd give it to him then. If he says, you know what, I'm gonna beat the challenge. I'm not gonna run. I'm gonna break the code.
Then if that happens, perfect. Like if he tries 100 different combinations, the time's running out. You see the ocean rising and times like, and then finally gets it.
Just try it once. Just try it. Just try JT Gabler Denise once.
Well, I can guarantee they're not going to have that same combination.
Can you? I don't know.
Almost guarantee.
Yeah,
but before that journey, though, can we talk about how ridiculous it is that no one contested Steven to go?
Okay.
I mean,
so okay, if I remember correctly, Emily goes. Was that like, did she draw a random rock out of the bag to go?
We all drew a rock, and I'm pretty sure every time there was a journey, we all drew a rock. You could like not draw one.
Drew drew a rock.
Yeah, everyone won. Oh well, that first time, but after that, everyone wanted to go.
Okay, and was that also when we were in New Orleans for the live show? Was that the same episode?
The Emily journey, yeah.
Yes, and she went there and she saw the journey. She's like, I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, it says that it's going to be a strenuous journey,
right?
But you don't have to do it. You could just go there and be like, yeah, I can't do it, but at least now I know where the advantage
But
is.
I thought this was actually pretty smart from production in terms of like how they did this, because they made it so, and I'm trying to remember like all these different instances of this, of that I think in 47, Rachel went because she was trying to block Genevieve and Sam to go from this. So they sort of like took the block off the table, where they made it sound so unappetizing that only the person who needed the advantage was going to be the person who was going to go on the journey. Like they sort of like cracked the code of how do we make it so it's not going to be somebody who's just going to either be like a nothing character or somebody who's already in the great spot. Like, how do we make it so only the person who really needs the advantage is going to go play for the advantage?
Do you think you're giving Strenuous like too much credit, Rob?
I mean, they seemed pretty freaked out by Strenuous.
This season, though, I think the physical toll has been even greater than in past seasons. It sounded like, didn't they say it's like the hottest season ever? And
it was hot.
They didn't get the rice either. They're on like a huge calorie deficit. So I could see Strenuous being scary. But like I said,
didn't even go for the rice negotiation.
Oh, yeah. No rice negotiation. That's true.
Yes. Although I had said that I thought that probably putting the rice negotiation at day 19 really makes it where that the players are like, what are we going to be? How many more days am I even going to be here?
If it weren't for Drew, we would not have gotten rice either. So thank you, Drew, once again.
Yeah. Yes. But what day was your rice negotiation? Was day 16?
Yeah, I think it was 16, right?
Yeah. I think that makes a big difference, right? Is that a valid theory?
Oh, for sure. I mean, at day 16, we had what, like 10 people left still, 9 people left.
There's more people. There's more people that are like, I'm not, what chance do I have? I also thought that the challenge, that it was like a race versus some sort of like a crazy endurance challenge, that people are like, I'm not going to win this.
Yeah, no, it also, speaking of things that are coming later, is there no loved ones letter this season?
I wonder if maybe that's what makes people crash out in the next episode, but it does seem like it is getting a little late for letters.
Yeah, I agree. I would not need my letters if I was going to get them 4 days later.
Yeah, wasn't there a scene in like the Next Time on Survivor where somebody was like complaining about like not being picked, or like, you know, mad that they didn't get something, like at the very last little scene of the Next Time on Survivor?
I think that was 2 episodes ago. That was the one where I think Christina was really upset that she didn't get food, maybe.
Maybe. I think there's something in this Next Time on Survivor that
it seemed like that they were yelling about something.
Yeah. It would imply that we're getting the loved one letters next episode. But yeah.
Yeah. Did either of you get letters? Who got letters in your season?
The women. They went on that Thanksgiving reward. And then we had boys' night, which
boys' night.
More than any letter.
Yeah. But do you wish that you formed a boy band instead of having boys' night? You could have four boys on a bench.
I would never change boys' night. That was like the greatest day on Survivor.
The greatest day.
Boys' night was legitimately one of the best nights of my life.
What was so great about it? It's not like you guys had beers or anything, or like, what was so great?
We were drunk on each other's friendship.
Yeah.
You know? Like, sorry.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, you have some like actual beefs happening this season, where like, you know, even just this last episode with Christina and Savannah going at it during Tribal Council. You know, Drew and I and Jake and Bruce, we never worked together. You know, like, you know, Drew and Jake had that whole mob boss interaction. Bruce and I, and you know, our alliance were always going after him, and he was going after us, and like, yet boys' night, we put it all to the side. We held hands. We gave each other high fives. You know, Bruce was farting. We were laughing. We made a big pot of rice. We went fishing. It was like awesome. We like put it all aside. We're like, you know what? Y'all are great people. We just can't work with you guys. And we kind of left it at that. And it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it does speak to something that Jeff said when Christina was thinking about her mom. And I mean, like, I've never heard him like say it, but it like obviously is the ethos of the show at this point, which is that like you come here to play the game, but it's really about the journey. And like that for me was like Survivor to a T. That like you know, we live these lives and we're isolated and we're atomized, and you know, you've got your cell phone, you're at work, and Survivor like strips away literally everything in your life. There is nothing else. I mean, there's not even food. And like, it just boils you down to like being an infant. And then what you have are other people in this like new, fresh virgin world in like the same state, and you create like bonds with them, or you can create bonds with them that like are so rich that they like surpass almost every other relationship in your life.
True.
Yeah, and the point is to spend time with these people, like at boys' night, or like I'm sure at that dinner on or the breakfast on day 26. I mean, these are like, these are like your bachelor party. I mean, these are memories of that forever. So it was great.
Yeah, Drew, does the show, is it able to capture that experience that the players have?
And not anymore. And like I felt like in the early days of Survivor, you did get glimmers of it, of like these real like life or death bonds that, like JT and Steven, great example. I mean, but now the show is so focused on packaging these emotional connections. Like they are the substance of the show, and they have to get the music, and they have to have backstories to explain why we should care. That it's lost a lot of the naturalness to it, which is unfortunate,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because I don't have a good, theory of why, even like to go back from stuff from, and I know it's like 15, 16 years ago that you're talking about like a relationship like JT and Steven. Why does it not necessarily feel like to the viewer that some of these relationships are as deep or as meaningful? I know there's the 39 days versus 26 days, but to the viewer, I'm not sure if that necessarily comes across the difference.
Oh, I mean, it all boils down to like the reality TV landscape, like sort of the currency of Survivor before COVID and probably a little bit earlier too, maybe like before 2016 was cruelty, right? You watch the show because the show had people being brutal to one another, saying things that you always wanted to say, suffering, breaking down. And when that was what the show offered, then there would be these surprises, these moments that were just like really beautiful connections. And now today, what the show offers is these connections. And so as a result, we as viewers, when there are moments of cruelty, these are the most striking aspects of the show. These are the moments that we're actually interested in and we'll talk about,
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting, Austin, because Drew always blows my mind, but this
is why I love doing pods with Drew.
I feel like what we're talking about here is that without the deep darkness, we cannot also have the light. And so in an era of like true sportsmanship where that we very rarely, like we had like, ooh, Christina has a strong dislike for Savannah. And it was like, my God. She strongly dislikes her. I can't believe it. Like, is it that we can't have the opposite side of the coin of that we can't also have like deep friendship in a world without hate?
No, exactly. And it's the fact that everyone is having these deep connections with you. Everyone has their number one. Everyone has people who they're so close to. There's so many of these stories being told every season. Like Drew's saying, it's like, why show, like, it's not going to hit the same, like if our season was so angry and bitter, and then like Drew and I had our little friendship going on the side, people will be like, oh, wow, that's so cute. Like, this is great. I love it. But, instead you got people just calling us Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro and all that stuff. And they don't have it. They're not having it. They're, it just doesn't stick, there's just too many happiness and too many people being happy and lovey-dovey and wholesome. So I totally agree.
Yeah. Drew, I never heard anybody ever say that the currency of Survivor used to be cruelty.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you disagree?
First off, let me see.
As somebody who participated,
as somebody who wrote the book on Survivor, RHAP I never thought. I'm thrilled to explore the idea of the original currency of Survivor was cruelty before it became fire tokens, and which is better? Who can say? So, could you tell me more about that thought?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it was why Richard Hatch captured like the imagination of like all of America. With all this, like these nice white collar professionals interacting, here was a guy who was like unapologetically mean and cutthroat and realpolitik. And that was why The Blind Side was so revelatory. And I can remember Tyson told me one time that he used to tell people that they were going home, and the producers told him to stop doing that because then they wouldn't have a heartbroken reaction, you know?
Yeah.
That was the core of the TV program. And the show used to dunk on people in the edit. I mean, the show used to really humiliate people in the edit.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be honest, as a viewer, I like that. Like that was that was intriguing to me. That was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that was part of why it was worthwhile watching the episodes.
Yeah, I do feel like that Survivor does really try to do right by the contestants, you know, in ways that they never did before. But I just don't know if that's necessarily what the viewers respond to. Like, I think that the show has very good intentions in terms of like wanting everybody to have like this amazing experience. I just am not sure necessarily like as a society if that's the show that we resonate with most.
I feel like it'd be so boring though every season if we watched, you know, the tribes just suffering and being really hungry and laying on the ground like we did in the earlier seasons. Like I feel like that story's already been told so many times that it needed to evolve. I don't know, like it might need another evolution from where it is now, but like I don't know. I don't think like if they told that same sort of brutal story that they did all through 49 seasons, it would be good. So.
There's a reason why every great moment of Survivor is in the past. You know, there's no, you know, we're members of the new era. We had probably top 2 new era season, top 1, you know, plenty of people think. But I mean, there's a reason why people agree that the old era was better.
Yeah. As far as like the starvation goes, I actually feel like that the starvation is like hyped up a little bit more. I mean, certainly like you had like way back when like Survivor Africa, I think that was probably featured a little bit more, but I do think that it is more of a feature, a prominent feature in Survivor in the new era than it was like in the recent past in the old era.
Definitely. That's a good point. It is coming back.
Yeah, I think that the show it really is a lot more of like yeah, I'm saying the word man, but I mean you know human versus themselves versus adversity versus the you know overcoming like this very challenging environment more so than the people versus each other.
Yeah.
I think like you do have to tell a different story, like, yeah, man versus whatever. Like it has to evolve. If it's always the same, it's going to be really boring. I kind of disagree with Drew that like every best thing that happened was in, you know, the old era or whatever. I feel like 10 years from now, people are going to say the same thing about the new era, being like, oh man, those 40 seasons were so awesome. Like what, or I just think it you know, as things continue to change.
It'll be so great when I talk to these hipsters that are like playing and they're like, yeah, like, you know what? Survivor 45, greatest season of all time.
Exactly. I just think right now it's obviously when we've had 9 seasons of a very similar format, people are tired of it. People don't like it. But once that format changes, people are going to miss it. That's what I think.
All right. Let me pose something I think puts it in very stark terms. So, like, if I go back and I think about like one of the last relationships on the show that felt like really like complex, not just I cared about the people, but complex. One of the last ones for me is like Jay and Adam. And that was a relationship where all of the emotional complexity of their pasts and their bond and the push and pull came organically out of their interaction on the show. Today, we do get, you know, we get emotionally rich characters who have a lot going on in their past and that have burdens, but it's told through exposition. It's told through with sad music and pictures pulled up. I mean, it's not earned. It's not an earned emotional award. And you've got to focus on the pressure cooker, you know, and really break people down to get that kind of, you know, emotional growth authentically.
And what I think is really interesting is that we're also in the 90-minute era where it feels like that we should be, you know, getting to know the characters even better than we would have in the past.
That's a good point.
But that's another thing with the 26 days. I feel like a lot of those character moments are, you know, when you have that one off day, and we have like maybe 3 off days the whole season, where we're just all laying by at camp and can talk through all that. I think everyone goes into the game now, which is like hyper fixated on their strategy, everything that they want to accomplish, all the moves they want to do. And, you know, everyone obviously wants to make friends, but I think everyone's so hyper focused on strategy that it does make it harder to make like to have those like genuine moments, I think, with the less days as well.
I'd love to go back to earlier in the season. Oh, Drew, were you gonna say something else?
Obviously, with 49 also, the whole social experiment is contaminated because halfway through they're like, oh, by the way, if we like you enough, we'll put you on 50. So I mean, like, there goes all of the authenticness of the game.
Do you feel like that changed anything? Because I have to imagine that almost everybody who's playing on Survivor is like, well, and if you'll come back one day.
Yeah, I think it's at the top of everyone's mind. But I do think like when he like made that call, it was amplified. And I think it is something that everyone thinks about. But like when we were out there, we're like, okay, maybe it'd be season 48, if we're lucky or something. We'll have an all-star season. And obviously you want to always come back and play. But it was never like brought up like, hey, if you don't do well, there's no chance. Instead, they're like, you know what? We'll invite anyone, no matter how you place. Like, we just want you to like go out there and play as hard as you can. It's like, okay, cool. That's all you need to tell us.
All right. So just going back to earlier in the season, Drew, you watched so much of it recently. Like, were there any things that stood out to you from the first 10 episodes of the season that you watched earlier this week?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think.
You want to just throw some things at you to
throw some things at me. I gotta look at my notes.
All right, tell me about the secret.
Oh, well, we had a secret encounter. Do you remember this, Austin?
Of course, man. This was time like zero before we even marooned.
On the boat, we're on these like little mini skiffs waiting to get pulled up to the freighter, and a sea crate comes up to our boat and it begins to climb up the side.
Yeah. And did you guys know what it was? You knew about the danger?
Oh, of course. I mean, they show you a picture of it in the slideshow, and they're like, whatever you do, get away from this thing.
That's why we're not allowed to go to the ocean when it's dark, because of those exact snakes.
Everybody has been like, trained to freak out if you see this thing. So this was our secret encounter. I don't know. The secret was funny because like then it obviously bites Jake. It was the only physical guy on that tribe. Which, first of all, I mean, like he must have been asleep. How did he not, notice? But then he gets evacuated, and they all go to the challenge. And Jeff goes to the other two tribes, and he's like, "This is so horrible. I mean, you guys must be so sad that the only physically fit player on your enemy tribe has been evacuated." Maybe I'm a bad person. I would have been like, I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. I don't know, but that was my only thought about the secret. Oh, and he's fine. He's evacuated, and it's a false alarm.
It was a dry bite. It was just a dry bite.
No, it's a horrible way. I can speak for the rest of us probably, where I would be a little bit upset, being like, no one wants to go out on being bit by a snake. That could happen to any of us. That's so devastating. But yeah, obviously in the back of your mind, you'd be like, all right, nice. Like, I don't have to worry about tribal for a little bit, which.
And I will say too, Jeff shows up on camera and he's like, we have state-of-the-art medical facilities to treat this guy. And then they pan to like what is obviously like a chorus rest stop hut with a bed in it. I was like, this is no vote of confidence. Like, I'm glad I didn't see this before trooping out there. Like, this is not state-of-the-art at all.
Yeah, so they have elite doctors though. The doctors are very good out there.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that this was like you had all seen these areas of the show. We were just seeing it for the first time.
No, never. It's new for us, certainly.
Okay.
No.
All right.
See, if we have an issue, we just go to a little tent, and they'll patch us up there. But
okay, this season was the first time that there was no mergatory. We had a regular merge in season 49.
Yeah, I mean, learning from their mistakes, definitely. I mean, the Survivor producers, the viewers, of course, don't know this, but there are a lot of young ones who have kind of risen up in the ranks recently, and they're very ambitious, and they have a lot of, okay, we've talked about this.
No, I'm interested to hear. This
sounds
it's like the Jedi Council.
A lot of ideas, and they're really and they take what the fans say very, very seriously. And so getting rid of Mergatory, I think, is absolutely for the best.
But I got the sense it was just a one-off. I didn't get the sense that this was like I thought that it was more because of the numbers and Jake's medical evacuation.
Was there a Mergatory in 48? I thought
Yes.
there wasn't. Oh, there was. Never mind then.
Well, they put in 2 swaps too, Rob, which I don't think they had ever done, with the exception of Gabon, in a non-returning season. So I think
I think that's
Or
accurate.
second,
Yes.
yeah.
So I think that in 40, but I think that they had been slowly like walking back the Mergatory over the last couple seasons, where it was like less and less of a thing, where I think it was still like everybody, was it always everybody got to vote, but 6 people were safe? And then I think it was, by the time I think it got to 48, I feel like that then it might have been still Mergatory. They still didn't get their buffs, but Charity got voted out. Tell me if I'm Brandon. Tell me if I'm saying anything wrong here in the chat. But I think it was that they needed to still like only one person was immune.
Yeah, that does seem right to me. The way I took the Mergatory in this season, or maybe I'm taking this season generally, is that especially coming up on 50, maybe they're slow rolling the idea that the format is not as set as we've all come to assume over the previous 8 seasons, that anything can happen. And so this is a real like precedent breaker.
Yeah.
In prep for 50, which will be a potentially.
But why does the format have to be set?
Why does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it probably has to be set because it's cheaper. I mean, that's probably why it's the same thing.
It's also, I feel like it makes it a little more fair too. If you go into the season of like, this is what's going to happen this season, so that you can't get in trouble. Like, oh, they're just doing a swap because this person needs to be saved or something. I feel like the production, you'll go into each season with like, this is what's going to happen. They map it all out just so that no funny business can be claimed against them.
Yeah, but it was fine for 40 seasons that they weren't like, maybe every once in a while, oh yeah, they just did a swap to save this person. But I mean, who cares?
I guess, do you mean
Come on.
You want the same format every time, or you want like a different one, Rob?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, mix it up. Like, why do people have to know what they're going into before they leave? Like, you don't know. Is it going to be 2 tribes, 3 tribes, 4 tribes, no tribes? I feel like that, like, we like novelty. Keep it spicy.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like there's going to be, I mean, like, probably for the 50s, there's probably going to be some sort of shift, right?
Yeah, I mean, 24 players. Or 22. How many is
it? I think beyond 50.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so.
The new era. I feel like that it does save money, and it just, if they have like chunks of eras of different formats instead of having to change it up each season. Because what if one just like fully busts and just like a horrible season, and like, like they do this, like, I don't even know, but like I can't even think off the top of my head, but it could.
You're saying don't try new stuff because you could have one really bad one?
No, I say do try new things.
Do try new stuff, like, right?
Also, you don't have to throw away something that's good immediately after, like test it out, learn what's good over the course of 5 seasons or something, play it out, and then, have an overhaul.
Yeah. If you got a little variation, things last a lot longer on the shelf. It's like crop rotation. You plant beans every year. I mean, your field is dead in 3 years. You plant beans every other year. I mean, you got it forever.
Yeah. No, it's interesting too, because I listen to the On Fire podcast every week, and I heard Jeff say, even just on this most recent episode, he said that he'd like to have an app where that has all of the challenges in the show, and then the fans can write their improvements for how to punch up all of the challenges and make them better. So it does seem like that there's some things that like we're very open to, like, hey, how could the fans help us crowdsource, make this better? There's other things I just feel like that we're very locked in on.
Yeah, it is. It can definitely be frustrating as viewers, for sure. I mean, it is nice that the show seems to have shed a little bit of its ego in terms of like, we know best, and we're going to do what we want, and now they're more receptive to the fans. And I mean, I think
50 is in the hands of the fans.
Supposedly, so we'll have to see, but supposedly it is in the hands of the fans. For their sake, listen to this fan. You should change the logo. But yeah, I don't know. Well, we shall have to see. I would love to see another fans versus favorites, for instance, if we're gonna have like more.
Yeah, that'd be good. Because I've said for years that a fans versus favorites would be good, because with all due respect to the fans of season 16 and season 26, they just like, were they even fans? Like, there was like 3 people across those 2 seasons that had seen the show before, and it's like, these are the fans of the show. These hot mactors. These are the people that watch Survivor week in and week out. They're our biggest fans. But now, like, the people who come and play the show for the first time players, like, if you put them on, like, if there was a fans tribe and you had people who are showing up the first time, like like think of a bunch of like the, standouts like yourself or the people that are from this season, like they could show up and compete against a tribe of returning players.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of them are playing orgs, a lot of them are playing online. And
Yeah.
one of the great values of the fan tribe would be that you've kind of like channeled all of the like Survivor geekdom into like one group of people. So instead of everyone squealing about how excited they are to play Survivor, it's just half of the people.
Yeah.
It's a nice kind of like freeing up, getting some air.
I think it would be a great format to do right now. Back to 2 tribes too. I think it just like wins on every element.
Yeah. Who says no to that? That's a good one.
Yeah, they're even flying the fans out. It's like the zoo. They fly the fans out, and they're like, okay, well, here are the starving.
Oh yeah,
starving
for
people.
season 50, you're talking about that there's a prize where a bunch of fans won trips to go to Fiji to go and watch the survivors.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the
My
zoo.
mom applied for it, didn't hear back, didn't get it. So
Yes.
sad, really
It's
sad.
definitely-
Yeah. Austin, and it sent your mom sent me such a nice gift from the live show in San Francisco. That was so nice that Austin at the live show gave me a gift card from his mom Eva, who is a longtime Robin's Podcast listener, and gave me a gift card for not being able to make it to the show. Nobody's ever done that before.
Wow.
I already know she has the biggest smile on her face as she's listening to this. She's probably like, scurrying around like she's on her walk, like listening to this podcast. It's gonna be the best day of her life. Like she's so happy.
It was incredible.
What was the gift card?
Amazon gift card.
What did you use it on, Rob?
I'm trying to remember, what did I use it on? That I have to go back and look at my records of what, because that's even pre Black Friday of what I got. But I'm sure it was something good.
Are you a big Black Friday guy, Rob?
I was pretty good on Black Friday. I was trying to find I just was making a list all month of what are all the things that I need, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and stock up on things.
I always panic 3 days before Black Friday. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't do all my orders now, then I'm screwed for Christmas.
No, I didn't buy one gift for anybody.
I might not even get in, huh?
I didn't buy one gift for anybody.
Okay.
Just
Well,
all
never mind
things that my shopping list of what I needed.
On Black Friday, I exclusively purchased merch from Rob Has a Podcast.
Oh, for real? For serious?
Well,
No, okay.
no,
Well, I have to say, we'll send you merch.
help me out, Rob. I'm just trying to.
We'll send you merch. Like we don't want you just wearing Jeopardy merch everywhere.
Shannon said I was like, Shannon thought me and Dee had the most good episodes. So I got a mug from her.
Oh, yeah, Chizzy mug.
Chizzy mug. Yeah. I have it. It's right by my bedside, actually.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Shannon and Eva both made happy by this episode. We're doing good.
Okay. Who are some other standouts for you, Drew, from this season?
I love Sage.
Yes.
Very complex player, willing to play, emotionally, which Austin, I know you mentioned that you really like. I liked her a lot. Other than that, I have to say I have not been thrilled by the cast. I have some very mean and harsh things to say about a lot of these people. Austin, what do you like?
You're turning to me now, and the interesting part was about a.
I'm trying to escape. I got called out
by StephenFishback.com.
Oh yes. Go buy Stephen's book. I actually got a review copy, but I think it's embargoed, so I won't say anything. But
yes,
go buy the book.
I've been very much enjoying Stephen's book as well.
Yes, it's very nice.
Anyways, the cast is great. I love the cast. A lot of the cast has grown on me with each episode. I've been enjoying the season a lot more now than I have earlier on the season. And I did even like that. I remember Matt was really fun to watch in the pre-merge. Sage, like you were saying, Drew, she's really fun to watch. That whole showdown with Shannon was so much fun. My girlfriend loves Steven. So this was a really good episode for her to watch.
Mm-hmm. Everything's coming up, Steven, he said.
Everything's what?
Coming up, Steven. That's what he said.
Oh, I guess he did.
Yeah.
I think I said that to you this week on the phone, Austin.
Everything's coming to Steven?
Coming up, Steven.
Like everything's going well for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I like misheard that. I really like Jawan. He's been really fun to watch. I was thinking like, okay, say like we were transplanted onto season 49. Like who would you want to work with the most, and who would you least want to work with?
Oh,
for all of us.
Rob, who would you want to work with?
Who would I want to work with? So I'm just trying to think of like the type of person that I would work well with. I feel like I want somebody. I feel like I would have worked well with Yellow Sophie. I feel like that. I think I would have like vibed well with her. I don't necessarily want somebody who's like too similar to me. I think I want somebody who has like a little bit of like a different skill set. Maybe somebody who's like a little bit more outgoing. That's why I was thinking of Sophie S. But I think that the beauty of me is I could work with almost anybody.
Oh.
All right, if you had to pick one that you like had to like you couldn't work with,
who couldn't I work with? I guess of the people that are left.
Or the whole cast, you know.
Out of the whole cast, I'd say I'm not sure if Jake is gonna totally vibe with me.
That's funny. Yeah. I was thinking Jake would be like the guy I would go to, you know.
And that's funny because Jake was my last two because I felt like there was maybe a little too much overlap in what we would bring to the table.
Like, I think I can like cater my approach to almost any other type of person that's out there. But if for whatever reason, like if Jake does not find me amusing, like there's not a lot there I can do. If he's like, you kind of suck at the challenges and I don't think you're funny. Like, I don't have much else to offer him. Like, we're not connecting.
You know, Jake is a very open-minded guy. He was tight with Sophie, who is like, you know, Miami. He was tight with Alex, who is not Miami. You know,
I'm not saying it definitely wouldn't work. I just think that there was, you know, probably that there's maybe some variance there. I'm not sure if it's 100% going to work.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I do like Jake a lot. I like Sage as well. Sage gives me like kind of like Emily upside. I think that the reality is that a lot of these people would be fairly good allies. Like I look at this season, I think that there are a lot of followers and there are not that many leaders, you know? And so there's a lot of people who would be fairly good alliance mates with a little bit more structure and a little bit, you know, kind of like, you know, stronger propaganda, group cohesion. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Jawan celebrating from the jury bench about the votes that were coming in for Sophie?
I loved it. I actually got like a little bit of goosebumps. It was like, oh wow, like you know, when you're in the jury and it's like you get like one final like move that you get to like be a part of. I thought that was really cool.
What do you know about being in the jury?
Just I would look at Drew and when I was
we're watching the jury's reactions.
I was a very stone-faced juror. I don't think I gave you much moral support.
No, you didn't. It hurt my feelings. I was like, oh my god. No, you smiled at me at first.
Over the years, Rob, of my appearances on this podcast, I've been very critical of the jury. I don't particularly like the jury. I think there are a lot of problems with it. And I think that when people celebrate or talk or make faces on the jury, it's putting your finger on the scale. And I don't really care for it. And the audience, it's not good for the audience either because it ruins the surprise of what the jury is going to decide.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of just like going through like the evolution of the jury. I think that traditionally the jury is very stoic, very stone-faced. And I feel like that maybe like the Elizas and the Courtneys are like sort of like the first jurors that I can remember that are sort of like like, oh my God, big reactions to things that are going on, shock face, and really like pantomiming from the jury of what's going on. But the juries, like as they had bigger juries, like in the Edge of Extinction, like it being like a little bit more raucous. But I really can't remember a time where I've seen a juror celebrating the outcome of a tribal council like I saw Jawan do, and then also being like, "Hey, Sage, like from like the jury, like, hey, that was for you, Jawan.
Yeah, no, I as a viewer, I liked watching Jawan do that. And I think, as a viewer too, there's like a line that can be drawn, like where, you see, Eliza or whoever making these huge, like crazy faces. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm just like, a little icky. I don't really like that. I like Jawan's. It felt genuine. As a player, hate the
I don't
reaction.
listen. It's fine for me as a viewer. I'm not saying like hey Jawan, like hey, that's not a very classy way to be on the jury. But I do think that it is a negative for Sage's game where that to be so demonstrative to the person that you are rooting for, and I guess everybody feels like, okay, I guess Sage has Jawan's vote. But to see like, okay, Jawan is on the jury. He's really going nuts for Sage. Might need to get rid of Sage because she's got the locked in vote. I think it's a net negative for the player who's still in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, Austin, you remember as not being the jury, you remember trying to like make strategic decisions based off how the jury looked and how
the jury. Yeah, no, you become hyper aware of the jury. Obviously, at a certain point, the jury becomes like the biggest part of the game, and you're trying to do everything you can to analyze like all their different facial movements, expressions, the way they react. Like, you're just like studying them, and it really can like mess with your head a little bit. I remember when like Julie went home at Final Five, we had people on our jury bench bowing down and like making this whole like big, and it was just like, oh, this is like
so obnoxious.
Yeah, like I was so like, and I was like,
bowing down Queen Julie or bowing down that Julie got out.
Queen
bowing
Julie.
down because they loved her, because what's not to love about Julie? But yeah, no, things like that. Things about that, it really does get to you as a player, and it is really annoying. And like as a player, it's like I want everyone to be completely stone-faced. I don't want anyone else to be picking up things. I don't want like someone on our tribal council bench like seeing the jury smile at them and then feeling like they could do whatever they want and have all this confidence. Well, I don't know. I want everyone to no emotions as a player, which is what you were saying, Drew.
Sorry, Rob.
Go ahead.
The game relies on like a certain notion of like that the jury is objective. Obviously, the jury is subjective. Everyone would admit that. But ultimately, the end of the game is compelling because you'd like to believe that the best player wins. And you'd like to believe that the jury has an accurate assessment of the best player. If that wasn't the case and it was just subjective, well, they'd all just vote for who their favorite was socially, and the show would be unsatisfying every season because there would be no reason to make strategic moves. You like to believe the jury is objective, and so when the jury does shit like that, it ruins that illusion, and it makes for worse television.
Yeah, I also thought Jawan might have had, and I gotta check the records. Maybe the first time I've ever seen a turtleneck on Survivor. Maybe not since Ryan Ulrich.
Oh yeah, Ryan did have one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. It was a good look. I liked it. It was
like get some variation in
there. Seems hot for the jury.
Yeah, and that fire makes it very toasty.
Maybe it's a chilly night.
I just saw Ryan the other day.
What?
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious.
Like your Survivor like hero when we were out there. You're like,
I really liked him. I sent him a message and I was like, "Do you want to get dinner?" I was in New York, and he was like, "Sure." And we went and we got Chinese food.
How was he?
It was like talking to myself. It was unbelievable. I'm dead serious. I always
wanted to talk to him, and he would not oblige.
That was kind of what he said to me. But Rob, I think he's in a lot better place about it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Maybe, let's see if we can open up a channel.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk after.
I would love that. Look, the history of Rob as a podcast is filled with people who I piss off and then somehow reingratiate myself back in.
Wow.
The ultimate social threat.
Exactly. See, we need to play a 10-year game, not a 26-day game.
Yes, 10 years. Like time heals all wounds. Okay, most of them. All right. Let me bring in. I got some questions for you, but let me also thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. Those are our friends over at Manta Sleep, of course. Manta Sleep is leading the way in the pro nap movement with the adjustable sleep masks with all sorts of premium features that will help you get 100% blackout. And there's nothing that is more annoying than when somebody turns the light on when you're trying to sleep. And I track my sleep. I want to make sure that I'm getting all the deep sleep that I can. I go crazy of how do I get more deep sleep? Well, head on over to mantasleep.com and they'll help you out, especially if you're a side sleeper. Go to mantasleep.com. Use promo code RHAP49 for 10% off your Manta Sleep purchase. Okay. Let's see. What did the listeners want to know from you guys? We've got
What could they
okay.
want?
Okay. Austin C from the Bay Area asked, is Drew looking for a job?
Austin C asked this?
Yes.
What? I'm in LA right now. That was not me.
Yeah, I am unemployed. Austin C is so perceptive. So if you're listening to this and you're in media, give me a call. But yes, thank you, Austin C.
Yeah, but it's not ALC, right?
I mean, I'm ALC. That one's probably has a different.
Anybody
No, I have a sense that
ALC?
Austin C just goes by Austin C in real life. Not
Yeah,
ALC.
no. The Lee was added as like a Survivor thing, and it's kind of now what people call me. Like people think my last name is Lee Coon, which is fine, whatever. I mean, I like my middle name.
Tell me about that. What's the genesis of it? Was there another Austin, and that you were sort of like you got like soaked into Austin Lee?
I mean, you want the real?
I mean, yes.
Well, okay. I mean, my last name is, some would say controversial.
Okay.
So I did it as a way to be like, listen, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm legal.
So, all right. So that I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Some might say it was pushed upon you, Austin.
Oh.
It was recommended.
Yes. Okay. Well, ALC is pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I like it. It's a rebranding that I went through, during Survivor, and I'm down to stick with it. I like it more.
Yeah. Look at the Sophies and Soph. They have a rebranding foisted on them.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder what's gonna come from that. I don't know. Like, is it now fully Soph? Like, or are people gonna go back to calling her Sophie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. If Soph plays on another season, is she Soph in the other season? Is she Blue Sophie in another season? Is she just regular Sophie if she plays in Survivor 48?
It seems like she's not crazy about Soph. I don't know.
Yeah. I did love.
They got to bring them both back on the same season.
Yes, I did love how Sophie S on her exit interview was like, "Oh, guess this makes me other Sophie now. Like that freaking sucks."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, she's the worst Sophie of Survivor. She was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean that's a great worst Sophie to be.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about Yellow Sophie? We hardly talked about her so far.
I really liked watching her. I thought she had a kind of a confusing edit where I wasn't really sure like the
was
overall
quiet in the
story.
beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I really liked her, and like I thought the bits that she got in the beginning were really funny. Obviously, roasting the food reward, she crushed the challenges. I thought she was really fun to watch. So
yeah. As somebody who also identified strongly with the food, did you feel like that she had a point there of fruit's not a reward?
I was down for any food. Like when we got our fruit reward for the first one, I honestly was happy. I was down for it. But like I get her point. I just like especially like fruits. So Drew might have been pissed off though.
I like the fruit. I was just disappointed they didn't give us more. But I mean, Sophie is part of this new archetype of like no nonsense professional women in their early 30s who are big threats, and we got one or two every season now. Mm-hmm. Within that archetype, I don't think she was the best one, but that kind of no nonsense approach is needed. Like,
who's the best one, Savannah?
Oh, it's gotta be Genevieve.
Oh, I think I meant from this season.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Savannah is like, I feel like a lot of people on this season say like the most ridiculous shit. Like, how could anyone buy this? Like the one that really stood out to me in my rewatch was Jawan betrays Savannah at the merge vote, and Savannah sits down with him and she's like, I just want you to know, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, oh my God. I would have gone ballistic. I'm like,
I
you're
can't
proud of me
imagine.
for betraying you. Like, do you think I'm stupid? You know, and so
I can't imagine if someone said that to you. Like, we would not hear the end of it.
oh, never.
It would lead to the greatest confessionals in the history of the show.
Yeah. So suffice it to say, I like somebody who's a little bit no nonsense, and I'm sure Sophie's presence will be missed. Also, is kind of like a mover and shaker. You know, I don't have much faith in Steven, Sage, and Christina.
No, not a lot of confidence on the other side. How about you talked about these no nonsense professional women that we have seen through Survivor. You mentioned Genevieve, obviously. Yellow Sophie. I think Savannah very much fits into that. I'm sure you could put Rachel into that camp as well.
Sophie, I would even put her there too.
Yeah, entrepreneur for sure. Do we have no nonsense serious men on Survivor?
No, we don't anymore.
I feel like you can't be a man on Survivor if you're no nonsense. I feel like that nonsense, like you almost need to be like, if you are no nonsense, you need to be totally jacked also.
Yeah.
Who wants to work with a no nonsense man? Nobody.
For whatever reason, who knows
why?
Why?
Serious men on Survivor in the last couple of years. I guess Joe.
Oh yeah.
But it's more. I think that Joe is like super serious, but blue collar guy.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I don't know if we have any serious white collar men on Survivor.
I think a lot of the guys they find to be problematic in casting. I think that's why they probably don't make it through. But who knows?
But I feel like that this is not even problematic, but just very serious. I feel like that guys, you need to have at least a sense of humor to get on Survivor.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
I'm like looking at past casts and it's like
they have to have like be kind of wacky.
They got to be a little nerdy.
Mm-hmm. Wacky or nerdy.
Or
Austin is like
extremely jacked like a Jonathan, like something where it's like you're just in the 0.1% of some sort of other aspect.
Mm-hmm. He's the like macho representation on the season,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like who are the men on this season? Just to go through it. Okay.
All right, I've got it up. We've got Jake, Jeremiah, Matt.
Well, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. Okay. Jake, he's in the category that and he was a big guy and he was still even a little wacky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. He wasn't just a straight no, and he was Canadian, so there
was wild card.
Jeremiah, wacky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alex,
Matt, a little wacky.
Yeah. Matt was wacky. A little Alex, a little wacky.
I mean, he's like
kind of unusual, a little not super confident, a little bit nerdy, a little bit introverted.
Steven, he's bringing the wacky. He's got all the dad jokes.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah. Jason wasn't really that wacky, but he was an alternate.
He's a pro.
With no disrespect to the alternates.
Yeah, no, we love alternates. He's a pro gamer. He plays Smash Bros. So that's not like a regular.
Yeah.
He was the most serious though.
Yeah, I will say, okay, Nate was serious. Nate wasn't that wacky.
No, regular guy. I mean, multimillionaire, but regular guy.
Yeah.
See, the 0.1% at something, it doesn't matter what.
Rizzo and Juwan wacky.
Oh my gosh.
But wacky is the best. All the greatest characters are all wacky.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's a question from a listener. Who is the sword of Damocles most likely to hit, and who is most likely to steal a sandwich? It's from listener Jake O.
Right. You get the former. I'll get the latter.
It'd be funny if we reversed it.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't even 100% know if I understand the sword of Damocles. I think I do, but half your analogies, man, they're just
powerful. You got a lot of ops. That's the short and sweet.
The what?
That's the short and sweet. If you're powerful, you got a lot of ops. I would say that the sword of Damocles is most likely to fall on Rizzo. He's been waving his idol around very ostentatiously, and I mean, it's like the rappers. They have those big chains, but then the chain snatchers come and they snatch the chain. I mean, that's kind of what I would foresee for Rizzo. Certainly, with most casts.
And for stealing a sandwich, I think Juwan is the clear, obvious, but it would be on accident. Would just take someone else's sandwich and eat it. Savannah would do it deliberately, steal the sandwich.
Speaking of food, we've seen 2 instances this year in this season where the person who is going on a reward says, okay, this person, they haven't eaten. I have to give them a spot on the reward because they haven't eaten. And people say, Rob, no, that's part of the new era that, whoever hasn't eaten, they have to go on the reward. And I'm like, since when?
I will say 45, we did kind of fall under that. Like at the auction where we're like, Emily hasn't eaten, Kelly hasn't eaten. We're going to let them bid on it first, get their food. I think you always say, like, you build your own society, and then like the rules of the society is that you want things to be as fair as possible, I guess. And, it could have been a thing where if he didn't take Christina or Rizzo for not having eaten, that they would bite him later on if he made it to final tribal council, because people would be bitter, like, oh, what the heck, he was starving, you didn't take him. Like, I think things come back to bite you.
People would be like, hey, on day 19, that wasn't cool, you didn't take Rizzo on the reward, he didn't eat.
People get pretty sanctimonious about it, Rob.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Food, like when you don't eat anything, you're eating worms off the ground, a couple pieces of coconut, like that is huge. If someone's like, I haven't eaten for so long.
Yeah, Sophie told me today that Rizzo hadn't eaten and didn't eat anything, and they said that because he doesn't eat coconut. And I need to know, does Rizzo have a coconut allergy, or does he just not like it? Because if he just doesn't like it, I don't feel bad for him.
They might have mentioned it if he had an allergy,
If he had, I think like Liz Wilcox has a million food allergies, candy coconut. Okay, that's tough stuff. But as a dad, I don't want to hear, oh, you don't like it, so you're going to not eat it? That means you're not hungry.
Wait, Liz really did have those allergies?
It's unclear.
We don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. We won't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm sure she did.
She said she has them.
Right, but then she seemed to make a comment that implied that she might not.
I thought she made a comment that said, like, hey, Survivor has healed me, of like, I've realized that I can, like, she's undergone a change.
What she was like I think the reason I have all these allergies is because I'm so stressed.
Mm-hmm.
I get stressed out about things and then I get allergies. So I don't know. But I mean, Austin, do you remember when there was the auction, and our auction was kind of like, there was a penalty. You had to like rush to get in. And Kelly, for whatever reason, we all decided that Kelly and Emily were like sacred cows, and they needed to get their food first. I can't even remember why.
Why?
I think it's because they hadn't done the merge feast or something. Oh yeah, they hadn't eaten since pre-merge or something.
But then it was like a real moral interdict. And so even though Austin and I&D all had more money than them, we like couldn't preempt them in the line.
Because it's like,
you couldn't eat 5 minutes before her.
You don't want to get heat thrown on you because you like broke the rules of your society and like didn't let someone eat when that was kind of an agreed upon thing.
You guys are making the case too easy against the new era being soft.
This happened in the old times too.
Oh yeah.
Like you remember, San Juan del Sur, they were all like giving up rewards to each other because they hadn't eaten.
That's a wacky season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. But I think that was like Jeremy was doing it for like posturing, and it was like a naked power play. It wasn't like he didn't care that like John and Jacqueline hadn't eaten.
It's a social game. You don't want to ostracize yourself anyway. So like that's just one way that you could please the rest of the group, and then you're gonna take that. Like why create friction?
All right. Hannah Hughes asks, if Austin was the alternate on 49 instead of Jason, how do you think that you would do?
I think I would win.
Now, you didn't get to be on the show because somebody was talking too much of Ponderosa, right?
No. I think that the reasons why I got brought in are kind of like, I still don't even really know to this day. But there was just some guy who came in. He was there for like half a day and then he left. And then I was told I was playing. So there was no pre-gaming. I think, obviously there's you give each other smiles and winks or whatever. But like, I think we followed the rules pretty well.
But you knew pretty well beforehand, as opposed to like Jason and MC. It sounded like they found out like right before everybody was going to go.
Yeah, I had a few days to like mentally prepare. Process. I gotta which was much needed because like the day after, like that evening after I found out, like I couldn't stomach anything. I was going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Like it was like a mess. So I can't imagine like being told,
Yeah.
And did they let you call home too?
I got a 5-minute call home to my mom, basically being like, hey, like, can you drop me out of school right now? I'm not coming back. And then also, by the way, can you refund my Southwest ticket that I bought? That was it.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Now, did you tell anybody in the game that you were the alternate?
I remember the conversation like very, very well. I didn't tell anyone through like 80-90% of the game. And then it was after, I think, the Emily vote out where Reba was fractured. And we come back at the end of the night and we sit on the beach because we would always have our little night chats with each other when everyone else was sleeping. And we were like this broken family who just like went after each other kind of. And as a way to kind of be like, no, like it's us four, we're going in, like, sorry about what just happened, but it's us four till the end. Like I promise. And then it was offering like, this is something I never told anybody. I was the alternate. I remember like that was just part of that whole kind of conversation. And I think those are the only people I told. And then, you know what, maybe it was not a good decision by me because then I go final tribal council, Kendra throws this question of like, oh, tell us about your Survivor experience. Like, how did you make the most of it? And then I was like doing this whole build up and I was gonna be like, and then I was the alternate, and then I said that and like, everyone was like, because they already heard from like Drew or Julie or something.
Because it seems like there's a lot of alternate bonds in this season where, of course, you had Jason and MC, but then also Sage was the alternate for Survivor 47, and then also Yellow Sophie was the alternate for Survivor 48, and it seems like that they bonded over that, the 47 and 48 alternate. So yeah, a lot of alternate mojo.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely feels like it's becoming more of a known thing and something that they're not really like trying to hide. They're like, oh yeah, we have one male, one female alternate. Like it's all out in the open. Like they're not hiding anything anymore, which is pretty cool. Our alternate was Tiana. She went on to play 47.
Mm-hmm.
47. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Alternates are the new lawyers. Future players should target the alternates as well. Of course.
It's true. They have the least amount of time to get excited, for it. So if you chop them, they get hurt the least.
Oh, I meant they should target the former alternates.
Okay, that's
because then they had the most time to prepare.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no sense to prepare. Yeah, so if anybody ever finds out somebody's an alternate, they should go after them.
Well, not only that, but the alternates also talk to the people on their season. So
that is true. If you have
strategic advantage.
Yep. So
wow.
And you know what? If someone goes onto your season only playing 1 day of a prior season, they also have a huge advantage that they.
Emily was right.
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly. But you don't really know that when you go out for the first time. You don't know that after the season you will talk with everybody and you can have access to the whole Survivor pool.
Okay.
And
so you guys were there when Emily was calling out that Bruce did have a big advantage for playing. Now, nobody had her back on the mat that day, but were you guys saying like privately, no, she was actually right about that? She kind of ate with that.
I don't think so.
I think we came back
just being mean.
That was so nasty and unnecessary.
We came back to the beach, and I feel like Drew was like, man, Emily's a bitch. Like, we gotta put her out. Like,
I don't believe that, ALC.
I never said that.
I don't think so. I think that would have been on the show if he said that.
I said similar things that were not aired, so I don't think that they would have been on the show. But nonetheless, Kendra and I had beef in the pre-merge for sure.
Yeah.
Kendra like it would give me like the stink eye during the challenges, and so
when you guys ended up on the same tribe, or
before
why?
She just thought I was like trash talking Bello during the challenges, and then she would give me these like nasty little looks, and then she also looks like she's very alternative, and so I was like maybe she's like she does like the Wiccan stuff, like like the witchcraft, like like wicked stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Didn't you like say something to them at one point, like
Well,
at a
Sifu was
challenge?
saying stuff. She thought it was me. But anyway, suffice to say, we were doing some Kendra trash talk on Reba for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
That was our target.
ALC, what do you think about the chickens on Survivor? That you're a person that you wanted the sandwich so bad, and now I see these survivors, and somehow they got the chickens like days and days ago. Somehow they're still like they haven't even contained the chickens. They're still running around the island.
If Drew and I were there, those chickens would have been gone like within 4 days. Like, I think you get those chickens, you just want to eat them. You know, that's the best strategic move. Just finish them up, less people to share it with. You don't have to worry about a swap. But then
You don't have
there's
to worry
like
about them escaping.
exactly. Yeah. But there's that whole thing with like the whole society where like there are people who might not like you killing these chickens and eating it, and maybe that could come bite you. And I'm wondering if that is playing a factor in why they're not killing these chickens, because I know they're all starving. Like, why are they not eating them?
I
Like,
don't think
because
that's a part of it. I don't think it's like that, Shambo is dreaming that you're going to murder the chicken. If anything, the players are having a like moral dilemma with killing the chickens.
Wait, you think they're having moral dilemmas?
Yeah.
I think that's why too.
I mean,
the
both
whole
Alex and Steven talked about how that they're not okay after killing the chickens.
That's fair. That is
Austin,
tough.
you think you would have been okay after killing the chicken?
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it alone. Like, I would have grabbed Drew and we would have done it together so that we could
That would have been a
split
good
the burden
scene.
in half. I mean, we were slaying crabs every chance we got, like to eat. And at that point, it's like, okay, I would just have to tell myself, like, you always want to just like make it feel not as bad. Like when we'd kill these crabs, we'd tell ourselves every time, like, oh, they eat their own babies. Like crabs, like literally there's clips of them picking up their own babies and eating them. Like they're demon spawns. Like we might as well eat them too. We would spin a story like, oh, these chickens, like, they'd be better off eating than just running and starving on our beach, or I don't know. We'd have figured something.
I hated those crabs. I hated those crabs more than almost like anything in my whole life. And so I think if the chickens were there, I would have hated those chickens, And
it's so annoying to have. I mean, like at that one Bello Beach for us, they had those birds that were just like living on the island, and they would just scream in the middle of the night. And I'm sure the chickens are also making so much noise. They probably don't smell good. They're, they could be taking their coconuts or papayas or whatever. Like, just eat them.
They're diseased. Those chickens are dirty. You can't have them running around.
But if it would put heat on me because other people have this moral dilemma and not want to have them dead, then I that would be what would stop me from killing.
Yeah, I don't think that's too big of a concern. I don't think there's too many big Wendy's that are out there of like, I think Sage might have not wanted them to eat the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did you think about the changes to the spinning platform challenge? Did you have that in season 45? The rope immunity blocks thing, but you've probably done it at some of these Survivor events you go to, right?
I've never done. Have you done this?
Oh.
I will say though, like with this challenge, it did seem like it was a step or two easier than the other ones that we've seen. I mean, like the fact
Jeff
that
himself said he didn't think that the adjustment was better than the old one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the old one was better. I feel like with this one, it was almost a speed run where like the past ones, there really is a dilemma of do you go slow and just like take it methodically and hope that, 3 people before you drop, where this one, it was like only one person dropped.
Yeah. Maybe
go as fast as you can.
Yeah, maybe the Dream Teamers just were like going berserko and going as hard as they could, and blocks were flying everywhere, and maybe it was something. But it seemed like everybody was like pretty measured, and we didn't have too many blocks topple.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be bringing that same version back, honestly.
Yeah, it's harder to read too. That's like a big source of tension in the challenge, like seeing it slowly like come together. And then when it's like spinning around, you're just stacking blocks. But
yeah. I think also, there's like the part you have to like turn around and like hold the thing. I think that's also like a big part of it. But I thought that maybe it was like a change that they made because I don't know how long it takes to shoot. Like, I don't know if it like, hey, that takes like 2.5 hours for them to actually like shoot that challenge, and maybe they thought it goes faster in the same way that they did like the pole challenge of like hang on to the pole. They like, we made the pole half as wide as it used to be, so that now it'll be really tough, and it's over in 5 minutes. So I thought it might just be like a, hey, speed this up.
I know that they want like challenge because with the 26-day format and the tribal councils after, you don't want a long challenge. So I'm sure they maybe thought of ways to do that.
Jeff
But like
said he didn't even like it.
Yeah, I feel like there was nothing wrong with the prior version of it. But like you said, try new things. It might be a bust, but then don't use it again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else do the fans want to know from you? Let's see. Survivor 50 is around the corner. Of course, season 45 has 2 representatives that are going to be playing in season 50. Could there have been more?
You're gonna ask who we thought from 49. Okay, wait, you go, Drew. I have to reframe.
Could there have been more from 45?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like a few of us. I mean, I was in the casting process. 2 other people who didn't make it on the show were in the casting process. I won't I'll leave that to you to ask them, Rob. But we all get cut. I think that the sad reality of the casting is that there's like a huge recency bias. So like 48, which was a garbage season, got like 4 people on. I think
it's only 3.
Oh, 3, whatever. I don't think any 3 of them should have been there. It's unfortunate. And I'm not saying I was better, but just the reality is there's a recency bias. But I think they chose 2 great candidates from our season. I mean, they're probably the top 2, so that'll be good. I'm excited to watch.
I mean, people are saying it's a top 1 or 2 season from the new era, so there should probably be more.
I have a lot of love for our cast. I would gladly see any one of them play again. Even Hannah. Hannah would be awesome to watch on season 50.
Could you imagine they came out for Survivor 50 and they said, and from season 45, Hannah Rose is coming back.
I would scream. That would be the greatest day ever.
And it's social media era, maybe.
Maybe I think on social media, it probably wouldn't even be the most complained about pick from Survivor 50.
Yeah, they'd be like, yes, under-edited queen. Boots down. And by the way, the show is like 100 times more likely to bring back Hannah than it would be like, Sean. Sean is truly despised. All Hannah would need to do is show up with like a, 12 months, no nicotine. And like, she's got a decent chance, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that Hannah's story like did dovetail into like what they're like, hey, we're showing people like, this is hard AF. Like, this is no joke what we're doing here. You think at home, you think you could do this? And she was like, yeah, I didn't know it was going to be like this. All right, I gotta bounce. Like, this has been real. You all have fun, but I did not know it was going to be this hard.
There needs to be one of those every season, first boot every season, just someone who just has no idea what they signed up for.
Yeah. So I think it was sort of like confirmation of like, see, we told you it was harder than 39 days. See?
Yeah. I did like the notion of like the least worthy player just bowing out as the first boot, like instead of losing Emily, who was just great, we just had like the person who wanted to be there.
Sliding doors.
What's up?
Sliding doors moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now look at her. Yeah. If Hannah didn't quit, then Emily would not be on 50. It would have been Hannah, maybe. Yeah. That's crazy.
Hannah would have been a good game player. Hannah would have been a real social threat. Brandon Donlin as well, who I think is lurking. Brandon Donlin, with a little bit more life in the game, would have been quite the social beast.
I think he bounced. Sorry, guys.
He's the worst coach.
I take it all back.
Sorry. Maybe Sam Moore. He might be good. Okay. How about from Ben Gregory? This is a controversial question. It's a hot take, I'll say, more than controversy. Could the steal a vote be more powerful than the idol at Final 7 since it's easier to play correctly? Now, again, just as a disclaimer, Rizzo does not actually have a steal a vote. He has block a vote. But would you rather have a steal a vote or an idol at Final 7?
I would rather have an idol, I think.
Because it's not necessarily going to be 4-3.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean,
If like
guarantee
Sophie S
safety.
had steal a vote, it's like, okay, great. Now it's five. Now it's going to be a 5-2 vote.
Exactly. Then all you have to do is win an immunity or two, and you're set to the end with an idol. But if you want a real flashy play, then I think the steal a vote. Like, I think if you're like lower on, maybe like lower in the totem pole and chances to win, making a flashy steal a vote could boost you higher than just saving yourself with an idol. So, I don't know. What do you think? Drew's cooking.
I've kind of been persuaded. I actually see the argument a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, because first of all, the idol. I mean, there's only a 1 in 7 chance you're going to need to, you're going to be the target yourself.
True.
And I mean, granted, you could play it on somebody else, and maybe there's maybe there's only it's between you and one other person, or who it's going to be on. But the steal vote has, like, everyone can use it successfully, so you've got a far greater chance of it being valuable than the idol. And the flip side is that Final 7 is kind of like the moment when the margins are the tightest and it's the easiest to make a move. And it's also like right before the end. So everyone is incentivized to make a move, even if it didn't happen this season. And so when any kind of move could be made, it's a very uncertain moment. And the steal vote provides certainty, because you can take a lot of the variability out of the equation by having 2 votes. So there's far less maneuvering room. So I think that of any time in the game, where the steal vote is as close to the value of an idol, I mean, it's got to be Final 7. Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah. Should production have given the steal a vote to Steven in this spot? I do believe that Rachel also got the block a vote in season 47.
I think the vote blocker was like the perfect level of strength for what Steven did. I was thinking that he was going to do that whole thing, and they'd be like, okay, you get a minor advantage in this next challenge, which would have been such a dud. But I think a steal vote would have been too powerful, especially with, the knowledge is power still in the game, the immunity idol in the game.
Yeah, but what did Soph do to get the knowledge is power? You just found it.
Wow. That's a different argument to make. That should not have been as powerful.
It is weird in terms of like that, to assign like, okay, this is a strenuous task, and like to think like you would think like, okay, I took a chance, I made a move in public to do a strenuous thing, like I should get the best advantage for doing this at the Final 7, where Soph just found it. Like she just happened to be on the right beach that had knowledge is power. And then like Christina just like found an idol, didn't have to do anything. Like, but why that poor Stephen had to like bust his ass to block a vote.
It is a lot of work to find the idols, but I think you guys are totally off base. Like it makes no sense to give a block a vote at 7, because there's 2 opportunities to use it, and you can't use a block a vote at 7, right? There's no number scenario where a block a vote makes sense. So really, you only actually have 1 opportunity to use the block a vote at 6. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to give a block a vote, give it at 8.
Well, do you want it to be stronger? I feel like as the game goes further and further, like it's better to have weaker advantages introduced to the game. Like it'd be crazy if like you get this huge advantage and there's only 6 people left, and then it's like, well, like you can completely dictate that round.
I mean, I'm not saying you should get the Tyler Perry idol, but like the block a vote is non-functional. Functionally, it's toilet paper. I mean,
and it's also such a public advantage of like he went on the thing. Everybody comes out, you're like, oh, I know he has something, and so like there's kind of like a target on his back to begin with. Like, give him something that's going to help him more.
I think that would be like a great time to introduce the knowledge is power, because like the knowledge is power is a balancing thing. It inevitably has been ineffective because it's been introduced too early and everyone has talked about it. And so you can counteract it. And also at the end of the game, if you're going against people, a group of 3 that has every single advantage, it's insurmountable. There's no way to win. I mean, you're just never going to beat that group of 3. And so if you got the knowledge is power at that point, then that would be a real spanner in the works. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that if they swapped the vote block and then the knowledge is power. I think that would actually be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that somebody swooping in with knowledge is power after it's like sort of the advantages and idols are already established and set in the game, I think that would be interesting. I don't know if I would be loving it, but I think it would be certainly interesting and potentially more game-changing than the vote block.
I feel like as a player too, it would suck. You know, you make it to the final 7, all of a sudden, of knowledge's powers comes, and then you lose everything. And I mean, I like the weak advantages. I prefer the weaker advantages, but it could just be.
Okay. You guys don't feel that when we watch these long journey sequences that they're ultimately wastes of time? I mean, like, this was an entertaining one, but like typically I'm like, oh god, another journey. Let's just.
This was a long way to go for Steven to get a vote block.
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately, from the show's perspective, it was more about showing, you know, Steven versus adversity more so than like how does Steven get a vote block.
Yeah, a lot of journeys have not had such a payoff, but this one did.
Cupcakes are nice. 6357 wanted to ask, Austin, have you eaten any fish or fish accessories since you left the slang? Does that mean anything to you?
I'm guessing maybe that's an island typo slang. I don't know. There's like a few letters that match, but
wow.
I mean,
yeah, good job.
I probably eat fish like you know.
What are fish accessories that you would eat?
Fish
are the eyes? Are those the eyes?
I will say, whenever I go to a grocery store with like someone who's watched the season, they'll always point at the eyes, like, "Oh, does that look yummy to you? You want that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yes, looks so good. Like, would love it."
Do you get mad? Do you have to make fun of me?
No, I mean, I'm fine with that. You know, of the different story arcs that people might ask me about, like I Fish Eye's great, Sandwich is great, you know, so I'm down for those.
Okay.
Yeah. I do feel like at the beginning, you would be like a little, not like you, but like we'd be a little touchy, you know, like I don't want you to recognize me. You're like, oh yeah, you were pretty bad. But at this point in the game, I'm like, oh yeah, I was pretty bad, you know, like whatever, you know, any acknowledgement, we'll take that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll eat it all, you know, I actually there have been days where like I legitimately was craving that eyeball just for like the experience again. I feel like biting into it would just take me back to those glory days, you know? But no, unfortunately, I don't think I've had an eyeball since then, which is a shame.
Isn't that interesting that you have access to all of the world's delicacies here, and the thing you clamor for is the disgusting giant eyeball that you had on Survivor?
It was a special eyeball. I mean, that was huge. They opened. I thought it was a whole mango. Like it was exciting. I mean. And I am also curious, like if I had it now, if it would be gross, because I remember like kind of enjoying it on the island, which could have just been because I had no food for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. Drew, what does it all mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't ask me, Rob. My life is not going great. I don't know what it all means. But you know, certainly it means that in the spring we're gonna get a good bit of television. So that's something at least
coming up. Okay, Survivor 50 is right around the corner. We're gonna get probably a Survivor 50 preview in 2.5 weeks.
Oh, forgot about it. That's gonna be crazy. Then we'll finally know who 49's on it, right?
And then we'll finally, do you guys want to lock in any predictions? That I thought maybe Jake, because he got bit by the snake, would be a good person to bring back. And I'm trying to think. I mean, it could be one of the Sophs.
I'll bet you it's going to be Bruce again. You know, Bruce, I just got a good feeling.
That'd be a good pick.
Last minute addition.
You know, Steven's making a late push also.
Yeah. Shannon, that could be a fun addition.
Yeah. Maybe Sage and Juwan.
Yeah. Or Christina or Sage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bring back Jason and MC, like the they're alternates, but now
and Nicole and Annie.
Now they're used to coming in late. Okay. All right.
Good pick. Let's lock those in.
Yes. Okay. Drew, any other Survivor 49 thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, like it's turned around in the merge, which is good. I'm hooked again and I'm enjoying.
Yeah. Does that ever happen on Jeopardy where it's like, oh, that was a boring first round of Jeopardy, but Double Jeopardy got really good?
Actually, I don't watch Jeopardy.
What?
Yeah. I never really watched it.
You never watched it.
I didn't even watch all my
game, please.
Which is but yeah. That I don't have too many thoughts on this one, but I think we covered a lot of them.
Okay.
And
Will
yeah.
you watch the last couple episodes when they come out, or will you binge them all again?
I guess I was talking to my girlfriend about the podcast, and she was like, "Oh, I want to watch them." So I think that the two of us, we will go through and we will go and watch them. I mean, for me, obviously didn't make 50, and so then I was kind of like, "All right, it's time to take a step back from this whole thing," because that was pretty disappointing. But yeah, no, I will continue to watch. I'll text in the chat BCC.
Nice.
About it.
Okay. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun over there on Chat BCC, where all of the survivors are breaking down the episode and talking about it. robhasawebsite.com/VIP chat to check it out for free. Do you guys have anything you want to tell people to check out?
Austin, you got anything?
Yeah, any one with writer jobs. I hear Drew is looking for a job. Maybe his resume will be out there for you to check out. So yeah, I will use my checkout space for Drew's resume.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I have a piece on Desert Island Media coming out in LA Review of Books on the 11th. You should go read it. It's only
what's it about? What do you mean Desert Island Media?
Yeah, like Robinson Crusoe. It's a review of this book called Friday. I wanted to talk about like my experience in Survivor, but I got kind of a little scared of the contract. So it just talks about the show a little bit more generally. And yeah, you should go ahead and, nice little hors d'oeuvre about the genre before you go and read Escape by Stephen Fishbach, which I hear is wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, lots of fun. Also, while you're adding to your reading list, The Tribe and I Have Spoken. You can check it out at robhasabook.com. And also, if you want to give it as a gift, we'll send you a postcard if you order in the next couple of weeks this holiday season at robhasabook.com. All of my knowledge, my vast knowledge about the game, all of my thoughts on the history of the show, the strategy, it's all in here at The Tribe and I Have Spoken. All right. Thank you so much for joining us here for a very fun interview. I feel like I got to be Jake or Bruce. I'm hanging with the guys, hanging with the boys.
That's what we were missing out there. If you were there, we would have had that 5 would have been the most glorious day ever.
Would have been guys
The
night.
next RHAP live show, it'll be guys night 3.0. Rob.
Nice.
You, me, and Austin.
All right, let's do it. Let's order the fish eyes. Let's do it.
Woo!
Okay.
Get me excited.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.